All right, well, we've got a lot of information flowing in right now on the Minnesota shooter. This morning, a horrific, absolutely senseless act of violence unfolded at the Annunciation Catholic School in Minneapolis. And while the corporate media is, of course, scrambling right now to hide the facts, we have the truth. And here's what we know at this hour. So while children were in morning mass praying, this man is a biological man who now was pretending to be a woman, identified his sources as a transgender man using the name Robin Westman. He was formerly Robert Westman. Opened fire on the church and school during a morning mass, killing 2 innocent children, injuring 17 others. A couple of these children who are in the hospital right now in critical condition. So unfortunately, that number might change. And then in a final act of cowardice, the shooter then took his own life right in the middle of the church, and he planned it that way. He knew exactly where he was going to go. He knew this church well. In fact, he had a map of it. He had drawn a map of exactly where he would be with the pews and where he was going to take his own life, and he released a video. In the video showing exactly where he was going to do it, using this knife, he slammed it right into the notebook to show the spot where he was going to take his own life after he mowed down the children. Again, he knew this church well because it turns out his mom worked there for years, and she had recently retired. Here was her going away announcement from the Church of Annunciation. On Sunday, we honored Mary Grace Westman, who's retiring from the Annunciation Church. She's been there for years. Congratulations on your retirement. Now, she retired a few years ago, and she allowed her son, while he was a minor, to change his name legally from Robert to Robin, according to the court records that are now public, which you can, of course, see for yourself. There, you see her name right there at the top, Mary Grace Westman, and allowing him to change his name to Robin Westman, because, again, he was a minor at the time. He was 17 years old at the time, so this was allowed. But let's listen to the police chief earlier today describing the scene and what they found.
Police officers from the Minneapolis Police Department immediately responded, entered the church, and attempted to provide first aid and rescue some of the children that were hiding throughout the building, while other first responders came and EMS responded to rush victims to nearby hospitals. 2 young children, ages 8 and 10, were killed where they sat in the pews.
Of course, the mainstream media and the police would normally hide the identity of the shooter if it doesn't fit their narrative, especially if it's in a liberal city like Minneapolis. But this time they couldn't because it got all over social media ahead of time. So this is the shooter that turns out to be a transgender male. Just before the shooting, Robin posted a ranting video on YouTube, seemingly like possessed by demons or something, rambling about having bugs under his skin. This is some kind of bizarre, unhinged behavior the legacy media always seems to sweep under the rug. Oh, it's a trans person with mental issues, probably on some kind of hormones and all sorts of drugs, who knows, and they're saying that they've got bugs under their skin and they're ranting and raving. We're going to hide that because it doesn't fit our liberal narrative with the trans agenda. So immediately they jumped into action, though, and they certainly jumped in they tried to hide it as quickly as they could because they deleted all of his social media. All of his social media was scrubbed across multiple platforms, including YouTube. Immediately scrubbed it, wiped his whole channel down, so that video was gone. But it's kind of amazing to me because some of the things that were said in that video, I mean, if we were to put that kind of stuff on our channel, we would immediately be flagged for it. But I don't know how YouTube allowed this channel to be up there with him talking about basically killing Donald Trump and worse and all sorts of other stuff. But they let that go until, I guess, everyone jumped on it and realized that he had a YouTube channel, and then YouTube scrubbed it. YouTube did remove the video, so we're not going to show it to you here. He posted 2 videos. You can see them all over X if you want to watch it, but we're not going to do it here because YouTube has already taken it down. But we can show you some still images here in a moment. But the details get even more outrageous because the shooter had an ammo magazine with the words "Kill Donald Trump" scrawled on it. Another said "For the children, ha ha ha." You can see here, ha 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 ha, that's funny. And in the video, he's just laughing about killing the children. We can also confirm that he had a target on the wall with the face of Jesus Christ on top, and a target clearly intention to kill Catholics, to kill Christians, to kill children. That was his goal. right on a target in his room. Like, what more of an example do you need? You have ammunition. You're laying out exactly what you're going to do. Jesus Christ is up on a target on the wall. You've got children written on your ammo magazine. What more of a motive do you need? Oh, but the police chief just a few minutes ago in Minneapolis came back out to the podium to tell the world that we have identified no motive, that there is no motive with this guy. No motive? We've all seen the video. Are you out of your freaking mind? You have a picture of Jesus Christ on your wall? There's no motive? Are you kidding me? You're going to kill children written on, you're targeting, Donald Trump. You want to go after Donald Trump? You're trying to go after Christian conservative children?
Well, you could also see in these videos that he went through, some of his journals, apology letters to his families. Again, these have not been independently verified, but they were on the videos. And he was saying, I've been depressed for a long time. Also, I think I have lung cancer. And so I'm just not going to die of cancer. No. Who knows if that's true, right? This kind of paranoia is very common when you are on SSRIs. So it is worth asking, was this person and this neuroses manufactured by pharmaceuticals? That's a valid question. Well,
absolutely. It's to me, I tweeted this earlier. I said the one common denominator in all of these mass shootings across the United States is always some sort of connection to antidepressants and SSRIs. We've done deep dive videos here and interviews here on the channel about this. I encourage you to go check them out. But it's a common denominator in all of these shootings. Now, a lot of it is kept hidden, obviously, because they're minors at the time, so we don't get access to their medical records. But then we learn from family and friends that, oh yes, this guy, in relation to what happened in Columbine, he was on antidepressants, and now we know from pharmacists, we know that they're handing out these SSRIs like they're candy. It's just unbelievable how much antidepressants are flowing into our children. They're basically sitting there like drones these days. And then when you add that on top of trans hormones.
Well, exactly. Yeah, because trans hormones also increase risk of cancer. So we don't know if he actually had cancer or not. He might have just been super paranoid, thinking that he was, that's not been reported anywhere. But yes. And the fact that he transitioned, that his mother allowed him to transition his name, the data is irrefutable that when a child transitions, it does not make them better. It locks them in to a path of misery, and most of the time the gender dysphoria persists, and it only makes them sterile, locks them into a pain of always trying to convince the world that they are something they're not, and it worsens their depression and their body dysphoria. So, that's not refutable science at this point. I can give you a laundry list of studies that show this. So he was allowed to go down a path that was destructive. We don't know what hormones then he was on after this name change, but it's likely, from the photos we've got, it doesn't seem like any cross-sex hormones were being very effective. He still very much looks like a boy, but we just don't know. We are absolutely, as a society, owed those answers.
Well, and also, so today's Annunciation Catholic Church shooter identified as trans, the Aberdeen shooter identified as trans, the Nashville Christian shooter identified as trans, the Lakewood Church shooter identified as trans. The list is endless. I don't know how many I'm missing here in all of this. Now, a lot of people saying, oh, this could have been a false flag operation. Well,
I think,
And absolutely. Look, sure. We're open to anything. Absolutely. Was this a false flag operation? Let us know in the chat room if you think that this was a false flag operation. To what end, though? Targeting Christians to incite. What exactly is this a motivation towards? I always look, when you have a false flag, what is the answer here? What do you, I think as people are saying in the chat, we are owed this answer. Exactly.
Well, Kash Patel says that they are looking into prosecution as a hate crime, and I hate everything about this story, but I do not believe in hate crimes, full stop. So those kind of things always expand the government's power. Look at the piece that I did about Matthew Shepard and how hate crimes were introduced based on a lie and have only expanded government power. So sure, there's an angle for how this continues to expand government power. I'm open to this. We don't know right now. It only happened today.
And to go after Christians to target, I mean, who would have carried this out? Like, was some people saying, oh, he could have been like MK Ultra brainwashed by the CIA and carried out this operation.
Right.
You always look for disillusioned individuals that you can brainwash. We've interviewed many people here on this show who are survivors of MK Ultra. So we're open to it.
Yeah.
But obviously, this story is developing, and we will continue to follow it as these details emerge. So we're in the early hours of this story, but that is what we know for sure right now.